Technology changes everything. As humans continue to learn more and more about everything, the world moves faster and faster. The vastness of information at your fingertips is staggering. Data can be transported around the globe at lightning speeds, but real tangible things still need to be transported the old-fashioned way. Almost everything travels on a truck at some point. The basics of trucking haven't changed much since the beginning. Load it up, drive it somewhere else, unload. But technology has had a huge impact on trucking. Today on Long Haul's King of the Road, powered by Peterbilt, I'm going to be learning about some of the technology and innovations that have helped shape the trucking industry.
So technology is driving the future in the trucking industry. I think when we were at Peterbilt the other day, they said there was more instrumentation in a new Peterbilt than there is in a fighter jet. So there's a lot of cool things and a lot of sensors and a lot of different things that, you know, if you're in the technology, there's a lot of technology in these new trucks. We had a tragic accident in 2012, and a really nice young man hit a truck in a fog. There was a truck dead stopped on I-70. Just come over a hill, and the guy was in the middle of the road, and he obviously couldn't see him, and he's no longer with us. And it was such a sad accident. And at that point in time, I put collision avoidance systems in all my trucks, all my company trucks. One of the biggest things that I've seen in the industry is they've increased the safety of these vehicles.
A lot of the tech and regulation comes from things that are safety driven. Peterbilt, our manufacturer, our truck manufacturer, a lot of the safety equipment that comes in the trucks, they help us make sure we're speccing those trucks to have all the correct equipment on it.
The technology is for the safety of our drivers.
The technology that we're integrating now, more and more safety technology. So today we have what we call level 1 ADAS. So that's the adaptive cruise control and those sort of things. And we're going to keep evolving those technologies in this product. The next is lane keeping assist. So that helps keep the driver in the lane. Additional safety technologies, we're going to have driver stop and go. So that adaptive cruise control today goes to 35 miles per hour. That's going to go down to 0 miles per hour like the automotive industry.
There's so many safety features like in the new cars, you know.
We're going to have more and more driver assist features to make the driver even safer. So we're going to keep evolving. You haven't seen anything yet.
We have cameras in our trucks, and when you have a sudden jolt or stop or braking, cameras activate, and it really is there to protect our drivers.
You know, cameras that face front and rear to the driver. And it's tough sometimes when you tell a driver who's worked for you for years and does a great job that, hey, we're gonna put a camera in your truck. And they say, well, I don't really want a camera. And it's not about what they want. And it's not about what we want. It's driven by other things in our industry. You would be a fool right now to own 140 trucks and not have cameras in them.
You know, a driver gets into a bad accident, he gets charged for being liable in an accident. He could lose his license and his livelihood for life. So it's just not protecting the company, it's protecting the driver. And I've had drivers say to me, if they wouldn't have the camera, they know they would have gotten charged for that accident, because the four-wheeler told the cop that it was, you know, the trucker's fault, and the truckers, you know, called Susan in dispatch and said, hey, can I get this film to the cop? She emails it to the cop. The cop looks at it and cites the four-wheeler.
Susan Brown, our safety director, she has to stay on top of that stuff, and she does a fantastic job.
You know, so those type of things are, you know, technology is phenomenal.
King of the Road is brought to you by Peterbilt. Extreme Trailers, innovation moving forward. And Long Haul Trucking, running on the power of promises kept.
We're back with Long Haul's King of the Road, powered by Peterbilt.
Last week, I visited Coast County's Peterbilt in San Jose, California, the oldest Peterbilt dealership in the country. For more than 70 years, they've been servicing the trucks that keep America moving. Technology has changed a lot in that time, but they've been changing and evolving too.
So these are the certificates for the mechanics. They go through training on the various engines, transmissions, electronics. Technology has really changed the business a lot. We have to keep up with the training. Peterbilt scores us on that, but a lot of our mechanics have been around a long time and have gone through all the certifications for Cummins, MX, Allison transmissions, etc. So we have a good crew here. Mike runs the operation, so parts and service, all the parts managers and service managers report to him. And Mike has kind of overseen our participation in Peterbilt's PTI program.
Tell me about PTI, what is it?
So PTI stands for Peterbilt Technical Institute. And it is a supplementary program to something called UTI, which is the Universal Technical Institute, where they offer specialized courses in diesel technology.
And we've had real good success with that program. Peterbilt's training the mechanics after they graduate from UTI. We spend another 13 weeks in PTI, a Peterbilt-only program.
They find students that have an interest in coming into the dealership world. It started in 2013. We actually started participating in it with the first group of graduates that came out of it, right?
And then when they're available, if they're from this area, typically we get first shot at them, and we work with Peterbilt to get them on board.
They will go through it with a lot of lab training, and they do it in sync with the training going on in the Peterbilt network. So if there's some new technology that's come out, right? Whether it's related to the braking system, the transmission system, the HVAC system, the electrical system, the actual diesel system, they get that same training. So our commitment to it is demonstrated in the simple fact we've brought on 16 PTI grads in the last 6 years, roughly, right? So we've definitely been heavily invested in that, and it's essential to us, Haley, because there's this ongoing technician shortage. If you looked at the job boards for service technicians at the beginning of 2018, there was 11,000 openings. Then if you looked at it at the beginning of 2020, there were 18,000 openings. So even though you have all these people entering into the workforce, there's a lot of people retiring from the workforce.
It's been a great way for us to sort of increase our head count with technicians that are very hard to find.
So the challenge has been, how do we get the next generation, right? And a lot of it's going to be through the use of technology, getting them excited about diagging a truck and understanding how it works. And that's what PTI does. It offers that kind of training to them specific to the Peterbilt program. We wouldn't have access to these people without a program like PTI. And they come in, but though they don't have that experience, they do have an understanding. And with that understanding, it helps flatten that learning curve a little bit for us. So that's a big reason why we participate in it, and it's worth the investment to have someone come in and have kind of a basic understanding of the product they're going to be working on. 10 years ago, you had 3 computers on a truck, right? Here we are, 10 years later, it's 16. So you got to have someone that understands that. PTI does that.
At what point did you decide you want to go into a career in trucking?
First, I want to be in the automotive, the actual car dealership industry. Even though I always grew up in the diesel world, my family would live in the farm, so diesel trucks, tractors was always involved with our family. Then I was going to the UTI program, and the automotive didn't really feel right, so I decided to change my program to the diesel. Then I got an opportunity to go into the PTI. That's pretty much how I started this whole diesel industry. The UTI was kind of more like a generic, everything involved, kind of the basic of what diesel world is. And the PTI focused a lot more on the Peterbilt side, like technology use, computers, how the engines work, the style of engine. So PTI was really more focused on Peterbilt.
You have upwards of 16 computers, is it, in these trucks? Like, is that a challenge for you, or does that make your life easier?
I think it's kind of both. It's easy because, you know, it's just computers. So we kind of, with our software, we can kind of monitor the computers. So we kind of know what it is, but it's difficult because, you know, it's technology. It's always changing. Something, we see one computer one year, the next year it's not there. It's something different, or two of them are combined to one. So something's always changing. I think that's the difficult part of our side. It's always changing. All our mechanics here, we all kind of got a little, what we're best at. We got the electrical guy, we got the transmission guy, we got the diagnostic guy, we got our own little, but for me, it's kind of more the hands-on, taking out transmission, taking off the turbo, doing the more hands-on stuff.
Going through PTI, how well do you feel like that prepared you for this job in the field?
I think it ran pretty good. Like I said, PTI really focused on the technology, how to run tests, how to see components. That for me, it really helped. That's what helped me out.
Now, I know you said working on transmissions is kind of your forte, but beyond that, what do you love most about your job?
To be honest, I think just the guys working here, you know, these guys help me out a lot. If I have a question, they'll go out of the way to help me. They're not like, oh, like I'm busy. I'm pretty much the new guy here. I've been working for almost 2 years. But all these guys, I know the longest tech has been working here for 30 years. So all the guys, they all know each other, and you know, they treat me the same way as the senior techs. So that's what's good about this job.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Long Haul's King of the Road, powered by Peterbilt.
Today, we're talking about technology and innovation in the trucking industry. At Long Haul, everyone is always on the lookout for new and better ways of doing things.
Is there a particular individual here at Long Haul that has really spearheaded change? They've been such a champion for innovation and change here at Long Haul.
Yeah, it's a group. I mean, there is individuals that are that way, but you know, where I sit, I have Josh and Anthony across the hall from me, and their conversations are things that take us those places. You know, Anthony or throw out hey Josh, hey Jay, what do you think about this? Should we go this direction? And it's kind of an open forum on that. Andrea Chalich, she does a lot of our technology stuff, so she gets a lot of things that come across her desk, and they make it into the management team meetings, and we talk about them. And you know, we're always trying to be forward thinking, but it's really a collaboration, because it's not just one individual that feels it's their responsibility and they should do it all. It's everybody. When it crosses their desk, when an idea comes to their mind, they share it. When they read an article in a magazine and they say, hey, this is something Long Haul's not really doing, but I think we should. They don't say, well, I'm not the one responsible to figure that out. It comes to the table, it comes to the surface, there's discussion and excitement. It makes us better, and it's exciting that it's a whole group thing where everybody's trying to keep us in the forefront of what we're doing.
You know, working here at Long Haul is a little unique for other trucking companies. Working in the safety department isn't always a popular job or even a fun job sometimes, but I appreciate Long Haul's dedication to safety and our commitment, and especially the commitment that John made, because that made all the difference in the world as far as being the safety director. There's a lot of weight, you get a lot of responsibility, and to have backup and to have the safety culture here, everybody works with safety, everybody's held accountable. It really makes a world of difference for us. The most important part of our job is to keep the drivers safe on the road. We've grown to over 300 drivers now, but we still have a pretty close relationship with each and every one of them. They're the core of our business, so we feel that it's important to make sure that we are in touch with them on a regular basis.
We had a tragic accident in 2012.
We had a driver pass away from an accident with another semi-truck. It was non-preventable on our driver's part. There was heavy fog.
There was a truck dead stopped on I-70.
That was a very emotional time for all of us. It was a driver who even lived local here. We all knew him. He'd been here for quite a while. He was a young guy, and it really was a terrible thing for everybody. It was really an emotional turning point for us here at Long Haul.
At that point in time, I put collision avoidance systems in all my trucks, all my company trucks.
John said that anything that he could do, any safety-wise or technology or anything that he could do to make sure that never happened again and we never had to bury another driver, that was what we were going to do. And it literally was a turning point for us here at Long Haul. When that system goes off, either the lane departure warning system, the forward collision avoidance system, or the adaptive cruise, it's amazing how quickly it can stop the truck. And sometimes you can see how it scares the driver because it takes over for him, but it has definitely saved us. You hear about a driver talking with another driver, promoting things like the camera systems, things like that, or sharing their experience. That's the satisfying part. That's when you know you've been successful. I am passionate about it because I think the drivers, I truly care about them, and I think they're the core of our business. And I think that being here to advocate for them, to try to keep them safe, to try to make sure they're compliant and help them in any way possible, that is important.
King of the Road is brought to you by Peterbilt. Extreme Trailers, innovation moving forward, and Long Haul Trucking, running on the power of promises kept.
Welcome back. You're watching Long Haul's King of the Road, powered by Peterbilt.
You know, the trucks have gotten so much better, fuel efficient. You know, the new PACCAR engines in the Peterbilts, they got the direct injection system in that atomizes the fuel, and every time the cylinder goes up and down, it shoots fuel in the cylinder 16 times instead of once, like in the old injector systems. So all of a sudden the fuel mileage goes up to over 8 miles a gallon, and that helps their profitability. So there's a lot of things that have changed throughout the years. The cabs are so much quieter. The inside of a new Peterbilt is quiet as a Cadillac Escalade. A lot of the trucks have new automatic transmissions in them. Some of the drivers were reluctant. I want to shift. But when they get the automatic transmission and they make a few trips through Chicago and stop and go traffic, so I kind of like this.
So what excites you most about the future of trucking as far as the technology and innovation side goes?
I would say about a year ago, I was with a group of peers, and they were asking us to take a look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in our particular dealership's area of responsibility, known as an AOR. And as I was going through all these different things, I got to opportunities, and on there were two things I'd written down. One was electrification, and the other one was autonomous vehicles. These are two reasons I hang around this industry. So as far as where it's going, right, in the future, that's gonna be a big play coming into it. We're still gonna have the diesel engine, we're still gonna have CNG, natural gas, vehicles. These things are gonna be, there's gonna be this ongoing combination, because being here in California, what's really driving a lot of this is the push to get us away from, essentially what's 19th century technology that we're using in the 21st century, the combustible engine.
If you look 5 years out, or even 1 or 2 years out, electric trucks are coming, and we're putting electric platforms underneath the Model 579 for more regional haul type applications.
What's interesting though is as this technology advances, like for example with electrification, is if you were, again, Haley Trucking, and we were talking about, hey, I want to see one of these electric vehicles, I can't just talk to you about the vehicle, I got to talk to you about your facility. Do you have the capacity for your fleet of 10 vehicles to be charged, right? Where you're going, do you have the range, in these vehicles you want to get based off the haul? And, there's so many things to discuss related to it, but I really see it where there's going to be these synergies of all these technologies, but they'll be the same type of technology. So where electrification will come in, I see that being more and more driven by not just the demand for more efficiency, but also the legislation that goes on in California. I believe 2025, all new vehicles purchased, they want them to be electric. So whether it's a bus, it's a garbage truck, or it's one of a 579, which is a model day cab or sleeper, it's kind of your standard looking truck. Regardless, they want that to be electric. I see that being a big pathway forward. Kind of exciting too, to kind of be a part of that. So.
I can tell that's your passion. That's
oh,
exciting.
Yeah, constant change today and every day. It's great.
How can we continue making the product better? Because you don't want to sit back and say, yeah, I've got the best product on the road, which we feel we do, but you can always make the product better. As an engineer, you keep on designing, you keep on designing, you keep wanting to make things better. Because look at it this way, they're on the road, 8 to 11 hours a day, or even longer, 14-hour period. And that's a long job sitting in one spot all day long. So to keep them safe as we can, to keep them comfortable as we can, that's very important to us. We want to make sure when they get in that product, they want to stay in that product. And that's our job. That's what we need to make sure we're doing. And we need to keep delighting them as we're designing these products.
With every innovation and improvement, the men and women in the trucking industry are making the job better and safer, changing how trucks are built, how they're serviced, and how they're driven. It's an exciting time to be a part of it, and I can't wait to see what the future brings.
Thanks for watching Long Haul's King of the Road, powered by Peterbilt. I'm Haley Shanley. We'll see you next time.